Welcome to Whiskey and RPGs. My name is Solomon SK, and thank you for tuning in for another episode of MMO and RPG News Roundup. We got a lot more news to cover today, so if you guys got your glasses or cups ready with your beverage of choice, let's cover the news together. Cheers to you guys. Heading on back to massivelyop.com, Everquest opens up its progression servers to everyone for a month. It goes on to read, they decided to open up all of EverQuest's time-locked progression servers to everyone. Quote, beginning today, we will be unlocking all TLP servers except Lockjaw and Fippy, since they will be merging soon. I believe that's how you say the names, excuse me. To all of our customers through May 8th, the studio said. Heading back over to PCGamer.com, gritty action RPG Grim Dawn is only $5 right now. So it goes on to read, on sale right now at 80% off. Also, both of its expansion, Forgotten Gods and Ashes of Malmouth, are 30% off, so you can get a ton of action RPG for $5 or a whole lot of action RPG for just under $29. And even though it may seem obvious just from the trailer that I have playing above me, it does go on to read that Grim Dawn is a decidedly old school action RPG that calls back to the Diablo 2 era of the genre. And if you're somebody who has a copy of Final Fantasy XIV, but you just can't really afford the subscription right now, here's your lucky week. We head on over to massivelyop.com. Final Fantasy XIV kicks off an 8-week free login campaign. It goes on to read, Final Fantasy XIV's team is encouraging people to come back and try the game out again with a new free login campaign that lasts for 8 days after the first login. As always, eligible players are those with an inactive account that's been inactive for at least 30 days, and the 8 days start from your first login until the 8 days have passed, or until May 17th. And on a quick note, apparently somebody from the Final Fantasy community has passed away from this global sickness that we are all experiencing, and it looks like a lot of players decided to kind of hold a memorial for this person, and I think that's pretty awesome. That's one of the things that I really love about MMORPGs, is that you have people from all over the world just coming together and just sharing each other's burdens like so. And yeah, it's a really beautiful thing. Now, I know a lot of you were looking forward to this, but finally, Fallout 76 Wastelanders is now live, and even though I've received news from multiple sources, I'm going to go ahead and stick with MMORPG.com with this one. Fallout 76 Wastelanders now live, marks debut on Steam as well. It goes on to read, the update for the game is actually huge and comes in a 70 gigabyte for consoles and 54 gigabytes on the Bethesda.net launcher and 68 gigabytes on Steam. If you've played Fallout 76 on Bethesda.net, all your progress, friends, and purchase shop items will transfer. However, any atoms, microtransaction currency that they call it, and Fallout First memberships will not carry over. Additionally, and this is really cool, if you grab the game through April 28th, you'll receive a bundle containing Fallout 1, 2, and Fallout Tactics for free, which I think is really cool. Now, obviously, with this huge update, there's going to be tons of new things that you could do, that you could list. I'm not going to do that in this episode because I will just add another 10 minutes to the video, but I'm really glad that this article summed it up. It will obviously include human NPCs, which of in itself is huge because it will actually give the world a soul in a sense. Dialogue similar to Fallout 3, a new main quest, Raider Settlers, gold bullion system, faction reputations, allies, repeatable events, daily quest, and much more, including new enemies and improvements to lighting. As somebody who's a huge Fallout fan, I've always wanted to find an excuse to play this game, and hopefully the reviews will start rolling out soon to see if this game, or this update rather, really makes the game something that we're very similar to, and I can't wait. I really hope it does well so I could jump into it, but we'll wait and see. So this next story that I wanted to cover, I really do enjoy covering stories like this. Not necessarily because I'm a huge fan of the game or the franchise, but because this game is being created by a small group of passionate players that want to sort of rekindle the old games that they played from before. There's a lot of effort, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears going into a project like this, and this particular game is called Ship of Heroes, and from what I can tell, this game is supposed to capture that City of Heroes, City of Villains sort of era, if you will. But going back to massivelyop.com, over 1,000 people rolled tunes in Ship of Heroes impromptu beta. But the studio writes, by our count, 1,277 people participated. More than 25 characters were leveled to 20, which was the event limit over the past 2 weeks. That required a lot of street sweeping. So again, I have some of the trailers playing above me as always, and the game does kind of look a little crude, admittedly, but I think in this case it's very purposeful to look that way, because again, these people, I believe, were passionate City of Heroes and City of Villains players, and so to make it look otherwise wouldn't really capture the essence of what they're trying to go for, in my opinion. I could be totally wrong though, but that's what my understanding is. Next, we head on over to Gematsu.com. Genshin Impact producer Hugh Tsai closed a beta end message, and I wanted to cover this real quick because I actually found out something about the game that I didn't know of from before. Now, I did know this part. Genshin Impact is not a massively multiplayer online RPG. Quote, you decide how you want to play, as a single player adventurer you experience by yourself, or one that you invite others to experience with you whenever you want, end quote. Which is really cool. I don't have anything against that. Do I prefer MMORPG? Sure, but having the option to play with other people online, I could live with that. I still think that could be very fun. I'm thinking maybe something similar to Dauntless. Maybe it's a hub-based online game. I'm not too sure. But this is the part that I didn't know. Genshin Impact will be free to play. It aims to be a friendly and fair to players. Monetization information will be announced at a later date. So I guess among the news that's been shifting from whether or not if the game would be an MMO or just a single player game, or maybe a single player game with online features, I would go far as to say, just based upon what I know now of the game, that it will be an online RPG, perhaps very hub based, like something similar to Guild Wars 1 or Dauntless, and that will allow players to, again, as it says, play entirely by yourself or to be able to play it with other people as well. Heading on back over to massivelyop.com, PSA Champions Online is giving a free $30 Freeform slots. Goes on to say one of the biggest flaws with Champions Online's business model has been that the game's greatest strength, being able to mix and match powers to make a truly unique superhero, was locked behind either a subscription or a $30 purchase of the quote-unquote reformed character slot. But Cryptic is handing out one reformed character slot to everyone who logs into the MMO. This free giveaway apparently is in reaction to the current quarantine situation, as it will only be available up until April 17th. I've said it multiple times before, I actually finally downloaded this game on Steam. I haven't fired it up. I know, I am so sorry. I really want to be able to play this game so that when I talk about it, it gives more context, because it looks like a very interesting game, but I've just been swamped with other projects that I wanted to do, and a little bit of that is because I'm a bit lazy. I do apologize. But heading on over to MMORPG.com, Path of Exile shares 3.10.1D patch notes. And really quick, the patch is set to go live as early as today and contains bug fixes and performance improvements. Improvements to Delirium are plenty and include the following. And again, it's a whole bunch of stuff, a bunch of bug fixes that you could read on their official webpage as well. Other items of note include performance improvements, skill improvements, serious improvements, SIRUS, not the other serious, metaphor improvements, item filters, microtransaction improvements, crash fixes, and more. And if you're somebody who plays the Black Desert version on the mobile platform, sticking with MMORPG.com, Ancient Ruins Season 2 returns to Black Desert Mobile. Really quick, it just goes on to read a new co-op boss raid mode, a new quest, Tier 5 pets and new gear available for production will be featured in the latest update. And this is really interesting. When you think of card battling games, I know Riot Games is very popular with this right now. You don't typically think of an RPG, but in this case, it looks like they're trying to smash the two genres together. PCGamer.com has an article called Card Battling RPG Ancient Enemy available now. It does go on to read, Ancient Enemy is a sort of post-apocalyptic fantasy pitting your mage protagonist against various evildoers and monsters, but it retains at heart a solitaire-style card play of the previous titles, and you'll need to improve your magey character as well. It looks pretty interesting. Again, like always, I have the trailer playing above me. Not necessarily my cup of tea, but if this is something for you, somebody who likes playing card games but also have an RPG element, I mean, why not? I think that's pretty awesome that they're trying to change things up. I was kind of hesitant to put this in, but something in this article was mentioned, and so I had to put it in here just really quick. Sticking with massivelyop.com, PWE or Perfect World Entertainment co-op shooter Remnant from the Ashes upcoming DLC will add a roguelike survival mode. It goes on to read, Perfect World's co-op shooter is getting a little more brutal with the Swamps of Courses DLC, which is introducing a new survival mode that plops players into the game with only a pistol and some scrap. Players simply must survive as long as possible, traveling to random areas via world stones to find new gear and get an edge. It will be arriving to PC on Tuesday, April 28th for a cool $10 with a launch on consoles later. Now here's the reason why I wanted to mention it. It was described by one of Bree's guildmates as, quote, Hellgate, but in a good way, end quote. And was Hellgate like one of the best sort of online RPGs out there? Not by a long shot in my opinion, but for whatever reason it left a mark on me. And lastly, this isn't really MMO or RPG news per se, but it does affect it nonetheless, especially when it comes to gacha mechanics in certain mobile and MMO titles. But anyways, heading on over to MMORPG.com, ESRB introduces quote, includes random items, end quote, label. And as you can see here, we have sort of an example of that. It does go on to read, the new label is, quote, in-game purchases, and in parentheses, includes random items, end quote. It will be assigned to any game, which includes such elements, including loot boxes, card packs, item packs, prize wheels, gacha games, chests, and more. But there's also another label. Goes on to read, the ESRB notes that the original label in-game purchases without the includes random items part will be assigned to games which includes non-randomized purchases such as cosmetics, DLCs, etc. This means loot boxes won't fall under this old label. And if you want to read more into it, they do go in depth as to their reasoning and the reason why they're doing this and stuff like that. But either way, I do support this. I don't want to get too political because I know this can get a bit political, but any information that allows the consumer to make more informed decisions, I support. And that finally does it for another episode of MMO and RPG News Roundup. I do appreciate if you made it with me so far. The algorithms does support the watch time. But yeah, I hope you guys stay safe out there. Please continue to hold down the fort, and I hope you guys have a blessed night. See you guys next time. Cheers again.